Hello, my mimics, and welcome back to the Mimic Commentary, episode 26. Now, you might be asking yourself, what are we doing in Limgrave South? South of Ag Hill Lake, dressed up as a Caden sellsword. Well, this is the Roundtable Hold episode. But before we do the Roundtable Hold episode, I was thinking, the first time we came up here, there was a nobleman. When we killed him, he turned into a bear, and he dropped a larval tear, core of a creature of mimicry known as a silver tear, as much as a substance as a living organism. So what I did off-screen is I dressed up as a Caden sellsword, because we see Caden sellswords guarding all these noblemen, and just so they wouldn't know what was going on, I kept coming by and I started farming them. I started farming them for their loot. Because when we go to the Roundtable Hold, there's going to be a lot of new characters there, a lot of new Tarnish, a lot of faces we haven't met before. And they don't know who we are, This is going to be their first time meeting us, and we don't know who they are. When we first met Renna the Witch, she asked if we could summon Torrent, the Spectral Steed, and we told her no both times. And she said that was wise in a way, because the lands between are home to liars and cheats aplenty. So it's good to have ample mistrust. So while I was farming, we got some items. We got the Caden sellswords. Hulking, fearless mercenaries set to hail from the mountaintops of the wintry north are adept at fighting a horseback. Caden is the name of their home settlement. I also got the dismounter from them. This is the weapon that I have equipped currently. Curved greatsword wielded by the brawny sellswords of Caden combines the blade of a scimitar with the heft of a hatchet, and you can see the attacks on this thing are really cool. It also has spinning slash. Spinning slash is the same Ash of War that was on the Shamshir, where we found the Blue Dancer charm. Talked about the dancer in blue who's a fairy who gifted a flowing sword and a blind swordsman. So I was thinking that perhaps the Shamshir and the Dismounter might have a similarity, and perhaps this home of Caden, name of their home settlement, maybe Caden is related to that. On their pelt or on their armor, there's this. It's made with the pelt of a snow wolf. So these guys come from a snowy region, from the mountaintops in the wintry north. So I was thinking maybe there's a connection between this dancer in blue culture and the Cadens. But I was doing that so I can get the aristocrats set. The aristocrats carry noble slender sword, narrow blade carried by wandering nobles, made to be easy to wield, daubed with gold from tip to tail, should fetch a good sum. If we look at it, we could see that these are definitely Erd Tree nobles, because there's a lot of plant motif on it. You could see that there's kind of what looks like vines and maybe lilies. Those kind of look like. Let me see. Those are the Trina lilies. It's hard to say. They kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of seeing maybe vines, but maybe there's lilies on there. Then you have at the hilt, you see flowers blooming kind of at the hilt, and then at the crossguard, flowers blooming, and then at the hilt, at the pommel, you start seeing those roots, and it's made of gold. So thinking of the Erd Tree, and then if we were to equip it like that, we could put it in our sheath, which is also pretty ornate. Yeah, and it's gold, not like the Erd Tree, though. It's a little bit more gold, so. Oh, there's the moon. What else did I pick up? Oh, the Caden sellswords, they also dropped 2 different types of raisins. So they drop sweet raisins. So we have Roa raisins. You can see that on the bottom, too. A little bit of, looks like spiritual essence emanating from them. Roa raisins are crafted from Roa, obviously, but Roa berry-like fruits. These can, if we learned from a nomadic cookbook that we could turn this into cotton with some heat. Grown in shrubs, easily found in the lands between. But we got these sweet raisins Preparation of dried golden roa fruit. And again, it still has that spirituality coming out, but they have like a gold juice in them. Feed to Torrent Spectral Steel while riding to greatly restore HP. So this is just restore HP. This does it greatly. Golden roa fruit is not unlike honey, and Torrent seems to have a taste for it. So regular roa raisins, humans are unable to digest regular roa raisins. But sweet raisins, golden roa, it's not unlike honey. So these golden roa, most likely gold from the Erd tree. We have their golden Erd leaf flowers and our evergreen herba that glows with the light. These are kind of glowing with the light too. So because of this Erd tree essence, it's like honey, and Torrent likes that. We also got sweet raisins. Now we learned that these guys are from the cold north, from the mountaintops, and they have snow wolf pelts. There's actually some snow wolves right there. The snow wolves are the leaders of the packs. So these guys killed the pack leader of the wolves and turned their pelts into a coat. Where are we looking at? Oh yeah, the frozen raisins made from rimed roa also has that spirituality, and rimed is just like a frost rime. It's they're kind of frozen over. Feed to Torrent Spectral Shiro Rhyme to vastly restore HP. So regular roa, just restore HP. Sweet roa, or golden roa, which makes a sweet raisin, it's like honey, greatly restore. But this frozen one, this kind of white frozen one, Torrent seems to enjoy the sensation of chewing this frozen dried seed. So something about our spectral steed, our ghost steed, that likes chewing on the cold. But our goal was essentially, if we're going to go to the Roundtable hold with all of these different tarnished, we want to kind of look the part. We found the old aristocrat cowl made from soft cloth, and this is what it looks like, kind of floppy hat. Travel attire worn by the nobles in the capital, garbed favored by the aged. So the old would wear these, the old aristocrats. Abandoning their birthplace after the shattering, these undead wanderers are a pitiful product of unending life. Instead, we're going to wear the aristocrat hat. This is the same hat that Bach wears. Bach the demi-human, who we got the needle for, so he can do some mending of our clothes. Leather hat decorated with a withered feather. Travel attire worn by nobles in the capital. And the belonging of a family which claims a knight as an ancestor. Now, since we want people to know we're a warrior, I don't want them to think, we're obviously not an old noble. We want them to think, okay, well, this guy, he comes from a wealthy family. Look at that sword, but he can trace his lineage back to a knight. Okay, some knight in some way. So don't screw around with him. There's some warrior's blood in him, and that's something that Margaret said to us. Again, we have the unending product of life, and we're gonna put on our aristocrat garb. This one drops from just the mages, so let them know that we have a little bit of magic casting. But I need pants, so let's put in the aristocrat boots. So this is gonna be what we look like going to the Roundtable hold. I don't want people to get the wrong idea about us, but I don't want them to really know who we are. Especially since most of our armor is it's Godric's armor, it's ragtag armor. We have the scale armor, so people will see that we're a warrior of some sort. But I want to kind of put on the show for them. Another interesting thing is that our origin was a prophet. We had to wear the blindfold. We have to wear the prophet's robes, which are like a sharpening file against the skin. And that kind of leads me to think that when people come to the lands between, now we'll get over it. We'll go over this when we get to the Roundtable hold. First, we're going to talk to Patches. When we watched the trailer in the last episode, where do I have to go down? I think there's a spirit spring this way. When we were watching the trailer for the announcement trailer, the story trailer, and then the intro cutscene. What was interesting, we saw all the tarnished, and using our prophetic power, those are the tarnished who are relevant towards the endings of Elden Ring. We won't know that yet. But before it shows the tarnished, it shows the statue of Marika, all ye dead who yet live, and then I think I could just drop down this way. Okay, we're good. And then it shows all the tarnished for our ending. Say hello to our spirit jellyfish. And then it shows all them dead, though. And I was thinking, is there you know, when you spawn into the Lands Between, essentially, based on what our character looked like, we spawned in, I guess we died in, you know, so we were a prophet, and we have this surreptitious prophecy of the Erd Tree burning. Was the purpose of people being ostracized outside of the Lands Between, so if they died and were given grace and were brought to the Lands Between, they couldn't share that prophecy with people? Like, you know, don't tell people about burning down the Erd Tree, and if you see a prophet like that, you know, stay away. So that's kind of like interesting. Like, you know, we'll do an episode in the future just going over the starting classes and trying to thinking in that way. But, you know, we saw Sir Gideon Ofnir, the All-Knowing, and he had a bunch of eyes and ears and stuff in his grave. And we saw Fia, the deathbed companion, and she wasn't actually dead, yet she saw grace. So what is going on there? Did they know that they were going to come to the Lands Between, and were they trying to prepare themselves? And in the same vein, what does that have to mean for other Tarnished? What were they? Why were they? You know, the Tarnished were banished from the Lands Between, and then they were beckoned back. So what type of cultures developed outside of the Lands Between in order to prepare the coming of the Tarnished? You know, so we'll talk about more of that later, and we'll talk about when we come next to Tarnished characters, and one of them is Patches. And I said we were going to talk to him a few episodes ago, but we hadn't yet. So let's hit the talk button and see what he has to say.
By the way, friend, you've really been there for me through thick and thin. And so, I've made up my mind. I bequeath that chest to you. An extra special thanks for an extra special customer. What's wrong? I've made up my mind. The treasure chest is yours, in word and deed. Sure, it may be worth its weight in gold, but a Patch's promise, well, that's priceless.
So, we opened this chest already. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't buy anything.
Try to find it in your heart next time, eh?
Yeah, sorry, Patches. I think this is the one that sends us to the Mistwood. Did I open this chest yet? No, we didn't. So this one sends us to the Mistwood. I did a little foreshadowing. And it sends us near the well, but we're not ready for the well just yet. But speaking of Patches, you know, he's our fourth wall-breaking character, I think at least. You know, he's been in every other Miyazaki game. Nearly everyone. Even Armored Core, he's in one of the Armored Core. The original Trusty Patches, I think, is Armored Core. So now we're the valuable customer. This chest was a trap. This chest most likely is also a trap, but we're not going to open it. Instead, we're going to the Roundtable hold, which is outside of the Lands Between. We needed a maiden to bring us to the Roundtable hold. Just looking at the icon, we see what looks like Grace standing at a table, and then it kind of looks like a veil or something is coming down around the Grace. So let's keep an eye out for like veils or something. See what that means. Like this, like the veil and like bedding, I think. That's what I see. And then we have the spirals in the center. We needed Melina to take us here. We needed someone acting as the role of maiden to bring us to the table of lost grace. So let's go. All right. A lot of crazy stuff in here. First, we'll inspect the room. We'll go room by room. And then we'll talk to the characters. It says Table of Lost Grace. We could do everything we want here. Pass time, but there's no windows. If we listen closely. Let's see. Wait, let me turn off. So you're going to have to turn your volume up for this, but listen closely. Okay, I hope you could hear all that. Let's put music at 7. Let's put everything... keep these up. So we can hear what sounds like glasses clanging together and like maybe people chattering, moving around. You know, it's really evoking like this grace that's here. Oh, you can kind of see it looks like this thing that I said is a veil is perhaps just this the essence spiraling into the giant grace thing. You can hear what sounds like people moving around, not very clearly, but you could still hear them, like evoking like, I don't know, like people who used to be here. We'll have to if we move further away, you don't hear it. So it's this. The grace has like the sounds of people in it. And grace dwells in the inhabitants of the lands between, nourishment for any tarnished, imbued with the power of life itself, the born at the foot of the earth tree are blessed. So something about these runes, we could hear like people who used to be here maybe. Then we have these tree branch type of swords. In the center though, we have the ancient Elden Ring symbol. That we know is the ancient Elden Ring symbol from the aspect of the Crucible, one of the ancient Erd Tree incantations. We don't have any regular Erd Tree incantations, but they don't have the wild tree branches at the bottom. Like, it doesn't have the wild roots or the tree at the top with the leaves. This is also found at the Chapel of Anticipation at the graveyard where the grafted sign attacks us. The Crucible Knight casts incantations with this, while Kenneth Haight used a Golden Order Fundamentalist spell and then an Erd Tree spell. And we see these like weapons. They have roots on them. Look at that, tree roots. Oh, here, I could probably do it this way. Tree roots and then roots coming out. So definitely Erd Tree worshippers here. And then we have this giant axe. Also root-like. Very tree-like. Maybe I should just say it's Crucible-like? I don't know. This is ancient Erd Tree, manifestation of the Erd Tree's primal vital energies, an aspect of the primordial crucible. So I wouldn't say this is primal crucible, but I'll say this is like primal weapons. These are like primal weapons into the Erd Tree. And we know a lot about axes so far. The Badlands Chieftains, and from that we have the Axe Talisman, the Lord of the Long March, who bore an axe. His loyal warriors honored him by wielding axes of their own, and we deduce that is Horaloo, Godfrey, first Elden Lord, who became Horaloo when he became tarnished. So this is most likely Godfrey's axe. So perhaps Godfrey was an Elden Lord. We're supposed to become an Elden Lord, so perhaps Godfrey worked in the Table of Lost Grace Roundtable hold. Bunch of weapons all over the place. Battle axes, swords. These are actually, those are the Banished Knights' weapons, our Banished Knight friends. Engval and Oleg, those are Oleg's swords, dragon worshippers. So we have these like primal Crucible Erd Tree weapons, and then we have ancient dragon worshipping weapons. We also have Guts' greatsword. Statues of this man with one golden flower. Oh, his face kind of looks emaciated. Maybe like a monk or a priest. Who's to say if maybe this is one person, maybe this is multiple people. Maybe tending to a growing Erd Tree, perhaps. Let's see what else we have here. A lot of candles. Yeah, nothing big there. We'll talk to you in a moment. Anything interesting on this door? No, more of that grass motif. And it's blocked shut. Not allowed to go in there. This statue of Marika was added later to do Colosseum combat. It's interesting that she's a little broken. So I don't know if she's intended to always be here. She wasn't here when the game first launched. So I don't know if that's something we should take into account. But her face... Actually, no, this is actually important because it's different than... Oh, I can't use the telescope. It's different than other statues of Marika in this crucifixion pose. Because her face is kind of broken. And her eye... Like, one of her eyes is kind of missing. Oh, we can't use the telescope on it. So it's kind of hard to see. But that's interesting that part of her eye is missing. This place has seen better days. It's just papers strewn about. And then here we found these guys, I think, are also the same as the chariots in the Fringe Folk Hero's Grave. Not quite sure yet. I know this is found at the Chapel Anticipation, but it's a knight of some sort, branches and leaves coming up, evoking that great tree or Erd Tree symbolism. Not sure if it's Great Tree or Erd Tree. This guy, we found dragon worshipping stuff. We have primal stuff. A guy with a gold flower. Perhaps these are just, and these guys aren't really that gold. They're not that gold. If they're gold at all, it's kind of tarnished. Get it? Yeah, they're kind of gold, but not really. So, and the Erd Tree is super gold. Like, look at this. Like, when you make Erd Tree stuff, you got to be gold, gold, gold. So perhaps this is, we have dragon worshippers. Maybe they built this place first. Maybe they didn't. Then we have these primal Erd Tree guys. Then we have these tree knights. And then we have golden flowers, which is like very Erd Tree coded. So let's go round robin. Let's go round robin to my right. Our first guy, we know this is Gideon the All-Knowing. We saw him in the cutscene. Sir Gideon Ofnir the All-Knowing. Before we chat with him, let's look at him. He's an old guy, hunched back. What's he doing with his hand? Hand on his waist, holding a scepter. The scepter, 5 fingers, clutching an egg. An egg? An eyeball? It's hard to say. He's clutching something. It's also interesting that the wrist, it spirals up. More spiral imagery. Very gold. His armor, bottom up. Kind of gray, but you could see eye motifs on his armor. Kind of spiraling too. If you kind of look at it in a certain way, it kind of looks like a spiral. Like links in a chain. More eyes all over him. And then ears. Like his waistband, those are ears. The beard on his helmet, all ears. Anything on his cloak? Oh, you know what? That's sigil right there. Yeah, it's an eye with 2 ears. That's the same as the guy that we got the hammer talisman from. The, what was his name? Recusant Hernicus. Recusant Hernicus tried to kill us. And he had the same icon on him. So perhaps he was working for Gideon. And this is what, we can't trust people. Was Gideon trying to kill us? Does he know that a new Tarnished come to town? Well, depending on who he was looking for, we are now an aristocrat. We're not who he's looking for. Let's see if we fooled him.
Oh, this is a rare occasion. I can't remember the last time a new Tarnished made their way to the Round Table. Very well. As your senior, I bid you welcome. It is safe here. You may let down your guard.
All right, let's break that down. This is a rare occasion. I can't remember the last time a new Tarnished made their way to the Round Table Hold. So we know Vare was trying to get Tarnished to go to the Round Table Hold. Roderica says, did the man in the white mask, convince you to go to Stormvale Castle? So perhaps a lot of Tarnished have come to the Lands Between. Maybe via the Chapel of Anticipation. Maybe not. And have attempted to come to the Round Table Hold. Perhaps either, we have... There was the Church of Pilgrimage, and we know that Tarnished came through here because we found the Divine Protection thing. And then the Tower of Return brought people directly to the Erd Tree. But that was all. We couldn't do anything from there. The elevator wasn't working. So perhaps currently many people go from the Chapel of Anticipation, but then Godric is, ambushing people, so most of them don't make it. If they make it past the Grafted Scion, then Vare is waiting for people and says, hey, follow Guidance of Grace, go to Godric, don't die, and then you'll go to the Round Table Hold. But this is a rare occasion. I can't remember the last time a new Tarnished made their way to the Round Table. So there we go. It is rare. Not many people are coming to the Round Table Hold. Not many Tarnished make it. So far we can see here. Another prophet, like us, that we spawn in as, he made it to Round Table. We see another knight in really ornate armor, red and silver. And then we see our friend D sitting over there. So he must be Tarnished as well. So a prophet like us, and then 2 knights were able to make it to the Round Table. Very well. As your senior, I bid you welcome. It is safe here. You may let down your guard. So other people know that you can't attack. Like, I'm hitting the buttons to attack, can't do it. The Roundtable hold is safe for everybody. What else do you have to say?
Allow me a word of advice. As your senior, you are a mere visitor to the Round Table. Nothing more. A house guest. Yet to earn their keep. Remember your place, newcomer.
All right. Allow me a word of advice as your senior. Yeah, he's old. He's been here for a while. You are a mere visitor to the Round Table, nothing more. So he is taking control of the Round Table. He says you're a visitor. Are these guys also visitors? They could also be visitors. He most likely not a visitor. He's a permanent resident, and he's deciding who is truly part of the Round Table and who isn't. Now, we know he's a tarnish from outside the lands. Excuse me. We know he's a tarnish outside the lands between. So I'd like to ask him, who died and made him king? Are we just a visitor because he says so, or are we really just a visitor? You know? Who makes the rules here? Does he make the rules? Or we don't know. He might know we don't know, and is just saying that sort of thing to make it seem like he has some authority in this place, when he might not. He might not have no authority at all, but because he acts like it, people believe that he has it. And that we are just a house guest yet to earn their keep. So we could still earn our keep to not be a house guest, but we don't know what that is yet. Remember your place, newcomer. What else did he say?
There's nothing left to say.
Oh, there's nothing left to say.
Be at your leisure.
What else?
There's nothing left to say.
Okay. All right. There's nothing left to say. So, Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing, told us to screw off. Who do we have here? Let's look at this guy. Wow. Okay. Beautiful blue eyes. Wonderful hair. What a handsome young guy. Silver armor. Really silver. Really ornate. Really ornate with rubies. Maybe. Well, we have the only other stones we know of are. Gosh, goodness gracious. Let me look at our weapons. Oh, I gotta. We know about glintstone, which is this one's kind of colorless. Maybe it's like a light blue embedded at the tip of this. He has red stones. Is that red glintstone? Could be, or it could be like rubies. It makes me think of because he's black and red. He reminds me of Rhaegar Targaryen, who from A Song of Ice and Fire. He perished before the story. He was killed on the Trident by Robert Baratheon. And the rubies from his breastplate went into the Trident River, and people are still looking for Rhaegar's rubies. He came from the noble Targaryen house, who are descendants of the great dragon lords of Valyria. And unfortunately, the Targaryens didn't have dragons by the time Robert's rebellion happened. So Rhaegar was only as strong. He could only be as strong as the man that he was. No dragons on the side. Let's look at the back. More spiral imagery. Lots of spiral imagery. Kind of looks like, I don't know, chili peppers in the middle, or maybe blood drops. And then more plants on his back. You know, those kind of... I don't know if I'm seeing this. Like, look at this. Like, is that a lily? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, towards the top. Are those little lilies? So, this guy, he has really nice armor. He must... Aristocrat to wealthy knight. Let's see what he has to say.
Ah, hello. You must be new here. Well, just call me Diallos. The honor of one's house holds little import in these lands. By the way, have you met a young woman named Lanya on your travels? She's my servant, but fickle as the wind. Take your eyes off her for but a moment and she's good as gone. If you find her, please be sure to tell me.
All right. Hello, you must be new here. He must not be. Well, just call me Diallos. So this is Diallos. The honor of one's house holds little import in these lands. Okay. So he's a tarnished. He's at the Roundtable Hold. But the honors of one's house mean little in these lands. He was going to give us his last name. He was going to say, "Hi, I'm Diallos, yada yada, of Diallos, of House whoever." But since he's tarnished, he's lowest of the low in the lands between. You know, true aristocrats, true nobility, they have grace. It is, those born at the foot of the Earth Tree are blessed. At least that is the enduring belief of the people of the Plateau. And from our aristocrats items, high quality garb adorned with fine golden embroidery. Travel attire worn by the nobles of the capital. So, a real noble in the lands between comes from the Earth Tree. This guy isn't. He's from outside of the lands between. He's a tarnished. Although he has this beautiful armor with red jewels, red feathers, even though he's his own Rhaegar Targaryen from outside of the lands between, it does not matter because he's tarnished. The lowest, he's the richest beggar essentially to the people of the lands between. By the way, have you met a young woman named Lanya in your travels? We haven't. She's my servant, but fickle as the wind. All right, okay. So this is interesting. We were talking about Gideon over here. We saw him buried with a bunch of eyes and ears, and his scepter was in the hands of a golem or something like that. One of the commenters in the last video brought up how the golem kind of had like a beak, like a nose, like a bird. And we've seen a lot of bird imagery, how the Crucible Knight we fought could turn into a bird. What am I looking for? Oh, the four-toed foul foot. 3 digits is a bad omen, but four-toed fowl's feet are a great gift of luck indeed. You know, did this guy know something coming into the lands between, and he was getting prepared? Likewise, Diallos, he's a nobleman. He has this knight armor. Was he buried in his knight's armor? So when he died and came back to life in the lands between with grace, he would have this great armor to protect him, perhaps becoming Elden Lord. And at the same time, his servant, how did his servant Lanya come with him to the lands between? Now, was she killed and buried with him? Like in the Egyptians, like the Egyptian pharaohs would have their pets buried alive with them? Was she as well? And how are they both here? They both got grace? But she's his servant and fickle as the wind. So the honor of one's house doesn't matter anymore in the lands between. Yet somehow this guy's servant from outside the lands between is here with him as well. And she's gone. She's as fickle as the wind. Take your eyes off her for but a moment, and she's good as gone. If you find her, please be sure to tell me. So she's fickle as the wind. So his servant's like, I don't want to be your servant anymore. I'm right? Like that's what I'm getting from this. She's like, I don't have to be your servant anymore. I'm free. I died. I shouldn't have to give you a life of servitude after I died. Grace called to me too. Why should I keep serving you? What makes you special? The honor of one's house means little to nothing in the lands between. You and I are equal, friends. Whether or not you come from a great house or not, the difference between you and I is nothing. We're just wearing costumes at the end of the day. True nobility comes from the Erd Tree. You do not come from the Nerd Tree. You're a tarnished, just like me. A tarnished. I can wear this aristocrat garb, but when I came here, I was just a prophet. I could be a guardian, a bandit, a Gaiden sellsword, or a mad pumpkinhead. But today, we are an aristocrat.
Be sure to tell me if you meet a young woman named Lanya. She's a servant to my house. She's been my companion since childhood. I've lost count of the number of times I've had to find her like this. Honestly, she's such a little tomboy.
All right. Be sure to tell me if you met a young woman named Lanya. She's a servant to my house. Okay, so she's a servant to the house. We don't know how old Lanya is. Sounds like she's young. Probably the same age as him. So ever since she was a child, she's had to be a servant for this guy's house. This guy's an adult. He's a man. And this woman was indebted to servitude to his house ever since she was a child. No wonder she ran away. Her entire life, there has been no freedom. Oh, look at the back. I didn't notice that. Look at the back of his armor. A snarling beast. A demon of some sort, right? And there's flowers blooming at, like, the neck. A beast and flowers. Like, right? He's got fangs? A human nose, maybe? What type of animal is that supposed to be? Doesn't look like a wolf. Doesn't look like a lion. But it looks animal-like in some way. Well, we know that people can turn into animals. With thanks to the Crucible. Perhaps his house, maybe the sigil of his house is like some man-beast. You may have heard my cat just yell. We also have these flowers, too. Flowers blooming around his collar. Maybe evoking back to the... And they're red, too. Maybe this, maybe his house's imagery is supposed to evoke back to the arterial leaves, swollen veins, and these leaves. Maybe the Erd Tree. And then this beast's, the primal vital energy of the Erd Tree, the Crucible. Maybe it's hearkening back to the Crucible that created the Erd Tree and allows people to turn into beasts. Maybe. Anyway. She's been my companion since childhood. Okay, so he's calling her a companion. Like, she's my friend, but in reality, she's a servant. She's forced to be his friend. It's not her choice. I've lost count of the number of times I've had to find her like this. She keeps running away, and I don't know if this guy is, like, a little too simple, or maybe he's not getting the picture. You know, she does not... she's running away from this guy. Maybe in life, too. So she's like, I don't know. She's called a servant, but it sounds like it sounds like slavery. If she's not allowed to leave, yeah, that's not good. Honestly, she's such a little tomboy. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than she's a tomboy, buddy. Here's our friend D. We've already did kind of a breakdown on D, so I don't think we have to look at it again, but I like that it's interesting. What's interesting about D is he's always, like, he holds this silver face, and the silver face has a blindfold, like Prophet's blindfold, deprivation of sight to see the future. Like, why is the silver the one with the blindfold for seeing the future, and why does he hold its head while he's leaning? Now, last time we met D, we were hunting Deathroot. He gave us some really important information about how the soul will always return to the Erd Tree, no matter what. No matter where you die, as long as you don't join those who live in death, your soul will return to the Erd Tree. And then he told us about the Sending Gate to go see Garank, but we're not ready to see Garank yet. We might hunt some Deathroot, but, you know, we're just going to do it if we cross by it. We'll go see Garank later, but we're not ready yet.
Hello again. You haven't gone to see Garank yet, have you? Well, no rush. You do as you please. Just as long as he doesn't starve to death, eh?
So what, is he trying to feed us? Is our job to go feed Garank?
Go to Garank only if you feel the time is right. Killing those who live in death and weeding their death root is a path not to be trod without ample resolve.
So, I like how D, you know, he's kind of, he talks about, like, eradicating, what is the line that he used? He says, so he found the mark of the centipede in Summonwater Village, an ill-omened symbol that should not be. Someone or something threatens the sanctity of the Golden Order and must be eradicated. So, eradicating things or people for the sanctity of something else, I do not like that. I do not like that, Sam I Am. I do not like eradication. That's very, you know, that's a very heavy word, especially when we're talking about people. That, you know, we can just look at the historical context of why that is not good. So, but what I like is that he says, go to Garank only if you feel the time is right. I don't feel the time is right, and I'm not going to. I like that he's not forcing us. Killing those who live in death and weeding their death root is not the path to be trod without ample resolve. Well, we do have ample resolve. We're strong, but we're not ready yet. I don't want to go there yet. And here we go. We have another prophet. He's just like us, except he has a different, here, side by side. He has a different, same bell, but a different type of wheel around his neck. I wonder if that means something else. Oh, I haven't, what does that have? Oh, interesting. Kind of like symbols of some sort. I'm not sure what those mean. Maybe they were supposed to, like, represent, like, wind chimes or something? What does he have on his? Nothing else. But it's weighted down. Like, look at ours is just, like, around our neck. Still very uncomfortable. But His is like, there's a weight on it. He's standing up straight, even though that's weighing him down. So let's see what he has to say. He also has the prophecy. If he's dressed like that, he knows the prophecy that the Erd Tree is about to burn. The flame of ruin is the anathema to the Erd Tree, but prophets sometimes glimpse it within the faith all the same. Sadly, when this occurs, their sole reward is banishment. So he, too, saw the prophecy of the Erd Tree burning. So we both know. Him and I, we both know the Erd Tree is going to burn. What's he going to say?
Oh, I see you've just arrived. Welcome to the Roundtable Hold. I'm Corhyn, a man of the cloth. I teach incantations, the strength granted us by the Two Fingers, and explore the secrets of the Golden Order, so that one day, if a Tarnished of the Roundtable Hold should become Elden Lord, I might counsel them, ensuring order regains its proper form, righting rule over men. By the way, do you still see it? The guidance of grace.
I see it, I don't see it. Okay, well, before we answer, I see you've just arrived. Bro, how you see anything? You got a blindfold. Well, with proper faith, he can see anything. He's got blonde hair, too. That's pretty good if you're Erd Tree, I guess. Being born with blonde hair, that must be good for you. I'm Corhyn, a man of the cloth. I teach incantations, the strength granted to us by the Two Fingers. So outside of the lands between, it seems like if you have the power of incantations, the power that draws from faith, that's because of the Two Fingers. We have spells. What other? I can't look at our spells right now, but the prophecy of seeing burning the Erd Tree, that is not from the Two Fingers. That actually doesn't have a background sigil on it. Catch Flame doesn't have a background sigil. So being a prophet, you just know that by knowing that prophecy allows you to conjure up fire from your hand and having faith in it. Having faith in that prophecy, you can conjure fire in your hand. The other spells like Heal, Divine Fortification, that is because of the Two Fingers. His name's Corhyn, and he has a strength granted by Two Fingers. In A Song of Ice and Fire, there was a character known as Corhyn with a Q, so with Q. Corhyn the Half Hand. He was, and Two Fingers, that's, it's not a full hand, that's kind of a half hand. Corhyn the Half Hand, he is a Night's Watch Ranger, much like Jon Snow. He was a Night's Watch Steward before he becomes Lord Commander. But he went on a ranging. Corhyn the Half Hand wanted Jon Snow, specifically the Lord Commander's Steward, to come with him on this ranging. And he keeps asking Jon Snow, towards the end of their ranging, they get trapped by these wildlings north of the wall. And he keeps asking him, is your sword sharp, Jon Snow? Is your sword sharp? He keeps asking him, is your sword sharp? Because when they get caught by the wildlings, he tells Jon secretly, he's like, you got to join them, figure out their secrets, learn who they are, be amongst them. And when the wildlings catch him, Jon just does that, and then Corhyn goes, you're a traitor, I want to fight you, I want to kill you. And then Jon kills Corhyn. And I don't remember exactly what he says, but Jon is like, he knew I was going to kill him. He kept asking me to make sure my sword was sharp. He says something like, oh, that's a sharp sword, after he cuts him with it. He wanted to make sure that when Jon Snow killed him, the kill was fast, that his sword was sharp. Now Corhyn, man of the cloth, follow the Two Fingers, he sees prophecy. So in A Song of Ice and Fire, this is how we read between both of the pieces of art. Because Corhyn, follower of the Two Fingers, can see prophecies of the end, it makes me think that Corhyn, the Half Hand, in A Song of Ice and Fire, he had a prophetic vision as well. Now, he's not like a prophet, like a literal, like this guy, but yeah. So he also says, he explores the secrets of the Golden Order. And we met Melina. She said that, something along the lines of, if a Tarnished, one of their kind should surely seek the Elden Ring, even if it does violate the Golden Order. So we don't know what the Order is yet, but a Tarnished going for the Elden Ring should violate the Golden Order. Bernarl, he says, does your guidance and grace hold firm or something, even with the collapse of the Golden Order? Golden Order is not working right now. Not a thing. But he wants to know the secrets of the Golden Order. And the secrets of the Golden Order, if he's a prophet, the secrets of the Golden Order must be tied to prophecy. So that one day, if a Tarnished of the Roundtable hold should become Elden Lord, I might counsel them. Okay, so he doesn't think he will become Elden Lord. But if one does, he will counsel them. So let's say we become Elden Lord, he will be our religious counselor. He will give us, I know a lot about this stuff, let me tell you what's up. Here's how you should rule the kingdom as someone who is a man of the cloth. Ensuring order regains its proper form. So he knows that order is collapsed. He wants order to be in its proper form. Righting rule over men. Now that's an interesting line. Ensuring order he wants to counsel a Tarnished, so if they become Elden Lord, he can counsel them. Ensuring order regains its proper form. Righting rule over men. That's like, we're talking about Diallos, and he has a servant. What gives him the right for his house to write the rules over another? What gives him the right to rule over another? So the Golden Order has rule over us. And somehow the Elden Lord controls that order. Somehow the Elden Lord controls the order, and then the order controls everyone else. So that must be what the Elden Lord is. The Elden Lord gets this immense power to control everyone else. That's what makes them, that's a super king. That's crazy. Okay, so if we become the Elden Lord, we can write rule over men. We would be the ultimate king. We will control order. He wants the Golden Order. The Golden Order collapsed. That was what before this. Well, if the Golden Order collapsed, it doesn't look that good, man. If the Golden Order isn't going to last forever, why would we do that? Well, we saw from the trailers and stuff, we know the Elden Ring is shattered. So the Golden Order is most likely collapsed because the Elden Ring was shattered. So if we keep the old Elden Ring together, if we become Elden Lord, put the Elden Ring together, we can control order, write the rules over men. By the way, do you see it? The guidance of grace? Well, so that's interesting. There's people here who don't see the guidance of grace. Do they see that then? Do they see that giant thing in the middle? Or is it just us? We can see the guidance of grace, so we can see that. Guidance of grace is the golden rays that give life to our Tarnished and show us the proper path. We talked a little bit about in the Limgrave finale episode about how we didn't follow guidance, and then we got extra information from Alexander and from D. So I'm going to tell him no, because we're going to lie to him. He doesn't need to know if we could see guidance.
Well, that is unfortunate. But no cause for despair. It's likely a temporary condition, I'm told. For whatever reason, it happens from time to time. Just keep your chin up and stay the path. I pray the great guidance of grace returns to you.
Okay, that's very interesting. So we said we couldn't see the guidance of grace. Well, that's unfortunate. But no cause for despair. Okay, all right. So it's unfortunate if we can't see grace. Grace is what gives us life. Grace is what gives us guidance. You heard my cat again. Grace is what gives our Tarnished life. Grace is what gives us guidance. It's this magical thing from the Erd tree. So if I come from outside the lands between and we don't have these magical things, it seems like that would, if we can't see grace, he doesn't think we can be Elden Lord. But he says, it's likely a temporary condition, I'm told. So either someone actually told him that or he's just trying to console us, but maybe some people are like, oh yeah, grace left me, but it'll come back. It's going to come back. Yeah, I can't see it right now, but it'll come back for sure. For whatever reason, it happens from time to time. Yeah, I think people who say they can't see grace anymore, probably lying. Probably. No, don't kill me. I still see the guidance of grace. I got things to do. Come on. Just keep your chin up and stay the path. I pray that the great guidance of grace returns to you.
What is it? Has the guidance of grace returned to your vision?
I see it. Okay. So he won't tell us anything else unless we tell him we could see grace. And with guidance of grace. And we can.
You do? Wonderful news. Most Tarnished are blind to it these days. You are something of a rare breed.
Ooh.
Well, what do you say? Care to learn an incantation of the two fingers?
Okay. Well, and then we got the prayer emote. Obviously, part of their faith. Very faithful guy. Most Tarnished are blind to it these days. That's very interesting. So we're not like Most Tarnished. Obviously, not like Most Tarnished. We're the player character. We're special in some way. Torrent chose our Tarnished. Melina didn't think we got the right stuff. She talked about the guidance of Grace. And if we could really see Grace, we should follow it. And when we did, and we defeated Margit, she's like, okay, I didn't believe you. Torrent always believed in you, but I didn't. But you've proven you're the one. For her and for Torrent. And because we had Torrent, Rena gave us the Spirit Calling Bell. So our Tarnished is special because of that, but also because we still see the guidance of Grace. You are something of a rare breed. So, well, what do you say? Care to learn incantations of the two fingers? So he's going to teach us incantations from the two fingers. Only because we still see guidance. We have a chance to becoming Elden Lord. There is something special about our Tarnished. So what does he have? Well, we already have Heal. And we already have Catch Flame. But he has more. Urgent Heal. It's faster, but it's the same. But you could see... Oh, that's kind of interesting. So this is the heal that we have. It's interesting. The Urgent Heal, the little heal symbol, goes into the two-finger sigil. Like the cipher. Those like Elvish cipher, that's all two-finger stuff. And you could see it at the bottom of the heal spell, too. We have a lot of... souls, so I should be able to buy everything. So we need Urgent Heal. Cure Poison. Alleviates poison buildup and cure poison. Discantation. So the two fingers faithful. The two fingers has high hopes for the Tarnished. That even if they should be wounded, even should they fall, they will continue to fight for their duty. It's the same as these ones. Cure Poison. I don't really think we need Cure Poison because we can craft it. But I might buy it. It's going to be really expensive to buy all that stuff. Magic Fortification. Yeah, it's all the same here. So, but it's interesting that the two fingers are teaching healing spells and cure poison spells and magic fortification, and flame fortification. That they're preparing the Tarnished for the lands between to protect them. We can't give you armor and weapons, but if you have faith, you just from using your faith, just by memorizing these spells, you have to memorize incantations. When you memorize the incantation, then you have a seal, a catalyst. You'll be able to use these things to fight against magic, to fight against fire. Rejection. Produce a shockwave that knocks back nearby foes. Charge increases shockback. Hark, Tarnished, if you truly walk in faith, you must be prepared to reject all else. The two fingers are teaching in their religion that you need to reject anything, any heresy, any other religion. This is the only religion that matters for the Tarnished. That you are supposed to become Elden Lord, restore the Elden Ring, restore the Golden Order. That's what you're supposed to do. But Melina says that this might violate the Golden Order. So perhaps Corhyn doesn't know what's up. Maybe the two fingers don't know what's up. Or Melina doesn't know what's up. But I trust in Melina. She had the spectral steed. And she's searching for her purpose. Her mother's in the Erd Tree. And she has the echoes of Marika. When Melina tells me something, I'm going to believe it. I don't have any reason to believe that she'd be wrong. So we're going to buy rejection. We're going to reject everything. We're going to be strong in our faith. Which is interesting. That's we also had the Finger Maiden. Our Finger Maiden was dead, the Chapel of Anticipation. So I'm kind of seeing that when the Tarnished arrive in the lands between, they arrive with what they died in. And then a maiden is there to indoctrinate them into the religion. And they'll teach them these things, I bet. They'll teach them cure and heal and rejection. They'll teach them the way of the faith so they can make a good and proper Tarnished, like Bernal said. But this guy, he has heretical spells. These are from sinister prophecies. And now we finally have Fireball. Flame Sling stays the same as Catch Flame. The Flame of Ruin is the anathema to the Erd Tree, but prophets sometimes glimpse it within their faith all the same. Sadly, when this occurs, their sole reward is banishment. But we want Flame Sling.
May the Golden Order shine through you.
And also with you. So let us equip the flame sling. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just what other spells do we have? Can I cast anything else? No. All right, this is we've been going. This is like an hour. I think this is gonna be a two-parter. Gonna be a two-parter. Next part, hopefully we'll finish exploring the rest of the Roundtable Hold. We'll go out on the balcony. We'll go down that hall. We'll go down the other hall, and then we'll talk to Vare. I can't do anything. Is there any items I can use? No, because of let's get a can I use like a ruin fragment? I can't even throw a ruin fragment. What about a rainbow stone? I can use a rainbow stone. Okay. Next episode, we will continue through the Roundtable Hold. All right, you know the drill. Let's do the thing.